My name is Evelyn Cross, 36, and I paid for a family that never planned to include me. You can build a life on routine, spreadsheet tabs, auto deposits, scheduled generosity. But all it takes is one smirk to collapse the whole system. It was 7:42 a.m. I was slicing a banana for my protein smoothie when the call came. Maribel, my mother-in-law, always called early, like problems needed solving before breakfast. "Good morning," I said, polite but clipped. Her tone was too casual, just letting you know everything went smoothly. I blinked. "What did?" "The trip," she said. "We went last week." I dropped the knife. I thought the reservation was for this Thursday. A pause. I heard the sound of coffee pouring. Then, "Oh, we moved it up. Easier for everyone's schedules." Everyone. Everyone except me. I reached across the counter and grabbed the manila folder. Printed itineraries. Reservation confirmations. All with my credit card info at the bottom. All sent from my email. All booked under my name. I didn't authorize any changes. She laughed lightly. "It was a family trip, Evelyn." There it was. The tilt. The blow hidden in politeness. Only for family. I hung up. Cut scene. The photos hit my inbox 4 hours later. Subject line, "Great memories." 16 images. Maribel. Her 2 sons, their wives. Cocktail glasses. Fire pit. Poolside brunch. All smiles. I clicked through like flipping evidence. No one mentioned I wasn't there. Not once. People don't forget. They exclude. I opened the booking portal and logged in. The dashboard had changed. The check-in date was updated to the week before. My name, Evelyn Cross, was no longer on the guest list. An authorization form had been uploaded. My signature at the bottom. Dated 2 weeks ago. I didn't sign it. My hand hovered over the screen. Cold air pooled around my bare feet. The fridge buzzed behind me. I didn't breathe until I opened my email. No confirmation. No update. Nothing. I searched my sent folder. Nothing. I searched my trash. Still nothing. Then I clicked into rules and filters. A line I hadn't created. Subject contains. Confirmation moved to archive. Forwarded to crosslegal@protonmail.com. Who the hell set this up? I called the resort. "Sorry," the front desk clerk said, her voice like syrup. "That booking has already been used. We don't store live guest info once the trip ends." I asked for any logs. I see a name change confirmation. Approved by yes. Evelyn Cross. "No, that's me," I said. "I didn't approve that." She hesitated. "It was sent from your registered email. With ID attachment." "What kind of ID?" A pause. A scan of a Colorado driver's license. Matching the name. The air in the kitchen snapped tight. My license had never left my wallet. I opened my purse. Unzipped the black card sleeve. It was still there. That night, I sat in bed and stared at the ceiling. Miles away, they were probably talking about me. Laughing. Filing things. I had paid $42,000 for a vanishing act, with me as the final erasure. "You don't lose family," my mother once told me. "You get written out." The glow of my phone lit the room. I opened my banking app. Transaction history. 3 days ago. $12,000 resort fee revised. $600 group dinner at La Fortuna. $9.99. Premium email forwarding monthly. Every dollar. My account. My name. I clicked into the digital signature file. Dragged the document to desktop. Open the metadata. Author, not Evelyn. Username, m.cross_home. Device, MacBook Air. Location, Austin, Texas. Maribel's house. She didn't just smirk. She signed me off the map. If I didn't remove my own name, then someone had access to everything. The system didn't break. It was hijacked. Tuesday, 6:12 a.m. My laptop flickered awake with the same quiet hum it made every morning. Same login, same layout, but I didn't trust anything anymore. I opened my inbox. Filter rules still active. Someone wanted me blind. I deleted them all. Then I searched, forwarded, 239 hits. All financial notifications, booking confirmations, legal docs. All gone. Forwarded to that Proton Mail address. I opened a new browser window. Incognito mode. Searched. Crosslegal at protonmail.com. Nothing. No directory matches, no business records. Clean. Too clean. Most people cover their tracks after they run. This was surgical. By 7:15, I was on the phone with my bank. I needed to verify the last 30 days of activity. The representative's voice was calm. Too calm. Can I help you confirm which card you're asking about, ma'am? The one ending in 0482. A pause. Typing. That account is no longer active. I sat up. What do you mean? It was closed via secure request. We have the closure form on file. Signed digitally. It came through on the 6th. My stomach clenched. The 6th? I was on a flight that day. Yes, ma'am, the document had a Colorado license uploaded with it. Same as your ID on file. That license again. The ghost of me. Signing papers I never touched. What account is the money in now? It was transferred to a family account under Cross Financial Group Holdings. I never approved that transfer. The silence stretched. She lowered her voice. I suggest you speak to your attorney. I didn't speak for the next 2 hours. Not a word. I sat at the kitchen island, one hand clutching the base of my mug. It had gone cold. I hadn't moved. On the fridge door, a magnet from Cabo. The last real vacation we'd taken. That one I was invited to. I pulled out my external drive and plugged it in. Backups from the last 3 years. I needed logs, attachments, digital receipts. Found one, dated last month. A PDF of the original booking confirmation for the resort. My full name. My card. Group booking. 6 guests. Current version only had 5. I opened both files side by side. Ran document comparison. Changes highlighted. Section. Primary guest replaced with M. Cross. Field. Notification contact switched to maribel.cross at. The edits were clean. But digital always leaves fingerprints. I clicked Properties. Metadata visible. Created by Macross02. IP 108.213.58.21. Austin, Texas. That night I didn't sleep. I changed every password. 2-factor. New phone numbers. Email recovery reset. I ordered a camera for the front door. Installed it myself by midnight. No installers. No access points. By 1:37 a.m., I was still awake. Paranoia isn't irrational when it's based on facts. I used to think the line between family and threat was love. Turns out it's access. Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. A knock. Not a ring. 3 knocks. Deliberate. Heavy. I checked the camera feed. Courier. Plain uniform. No name. I opened the door enough to take the envelope. No signature required. No explanation. Inside a manila folder. No letterhead. A single printed document. Notification of potential dependency concern. Filed with the County Civil Review Board. Subject, Evelyn Cross. Filed by Cross Family Representation, Legal Counsel. Attached memo. Sudden disruption of financial support may cause legal instability if family reliance is established over time. Immediate review suggested. My hands trembled. This wasn't revenge. This was litigation. The legal system wasn't built for feelings. It was built for patterns. And I'd given them 10 years of financial patterns. Family dinners I paid for. Insurance top-ups. Property taxes. Bailouts. Credit lines. Co-signed leases. The math didn't care about betrayal, only about numbers. And the numbers made me look complicit. I called my contact at the Denver Civic Law Office. Shelley. She owed me from a case I buried for her ex-client. Shelley, I need to know how fast someone can build a dependency profile on another adult. She exhaled sharply. If the payments were consistent and substantial. 2 affidavits. A signed record. You're halfway buried. I nodded slowly. And if someone forged my signature on a few transfers, that's a felony. I didn't sign anything. I didn't authorize this. She lowered her voice. Then they're not just coming for your accounts. They're coming for your name. They didn't steal a vacation. They built a case. The doorbell didn't ring. 3 sharp knocks. Like a warning. I was already up. Wide awake. I hadn't slept. Just watched my security feed in 30-second loops like it would give me some kind of edge. The hallway was quiet until it wasn't. I checked the camera. 3 figures stood at my door. Maribel, Miles, my brother-in-law, and a 3rd man I didn't recognize. Gray suit, black leather folder, expressionless. I didn't open right away. Just stared at the screen, watched them not speak. Just wait. Predators don't knock unless they're sure the cage is open. I cracked the door, but kept the chain on. The suited man stepped forward. Evelyn Cross. Voice slick. Too calm. Who are you? Caleb Rourke. Legal counsel representing the Cross family. He held up the folder like a shield. May we speak? Say it through the door. A flicker in his eyes. Like I broke some unwritten rule. I'd prefer not to involve neighbors. Too late, I said, stepping back just enough to let my voice echo into the hallway. Maribel flinched, but didn't break her smile. Her eyes scanned my living room, like she was already picturing the layout. I watched her, not him. Caleb cleared his throat. There's concern regarding recent behavior, financial disruptions, emotional volatility. The family feels it may be necessary to seek formal guardianship to protect. Guardianship. I cut in. You're filing for conservatorship? It's not official yet, but should the current instability continue? Miles shifted beside him, avoiding eye contact. His hands were buried deep in his jacket pockets. Not cold, just hiding something. Maribel finally spoke. You've been under a lot of pressure, Evelyn. We all see it. This is just precaution. Precaution? My jaw locked. After you stole my money? Erase my name. Her smile didn't move. Everyone agreed. You were overwhelmed. You needed space. A long beat passed. Sometimes, she added, when someone's drowning, they fight the hand trying to pull them up. I snapped the door shut. Chain still on, but I pressed my ear to the wood. Murmurs. Caleb said something low. Footsteps. Retreating. I ran to my laptop. Logged into the camera system. Rewound the feed. Paused. Zoomed in. Caleb held the folder open when he spoke. I could see the first page. My name, birth date, SSN, medical history, bank accounts. The kind of file you only get if someone gives it to you. Someone with access. Someone like Nolan. My husband. By noon, I'd already called my doctor. No request for mental health evaluations on record. No red flags. Yet, but the fear wasn't the record, it was the intent. You don't call a lawyer unless you're planning a war. I called Shelley again. If they file for guardianship, what happens? Depends how it's framed, she said. If they argue diminished capacity or emotional instability tied to financial behavior, a judge could freeze your assets within days. Temporary orders happen fast. And if they use my prior support records, could look like overinvolvement, enmeshment, easy to flip that into emotional codependence and blame the spiral on you. I stared at the wall. What if they have access to my medical or financial records? Without your consent? She paused. That's illegal. And deeply serious. But proving it's hard. They'll say Nolan had shared access. I didn't answer. She asked the question I hadn't wanted to hear. Evelyn, how much does he know? I ended the call. That night, Nolan came home late. He kissed my cheek like nothing had shifted. Like his mother hadn't just stood at my door with a legal bullet. I watched him as he walked to the fridge. The way he moved. Mechanical. Careful. Long day. I asked. Yeah. Sorry. Caught in meetings. He didn't look at me. Not once. He grabbed a beer. Sat on the couch. I sat across from him. Your family sent a lawyer today. He didn't blink. They said I'm unstable. That they're considering guardianship. Still nothing. You know what that means, right? I asked. They want to control everything. My accounts. My name. He finally looked at me. I told them not to file anything yet. Yet, that word sliced deeper than I expected. They just wanted me to help them organize, he added. They didn't say it would go this far. You gave them my records. It was just for context. You gave them my entire life. He stood. You're spiraling, Evelyn. They're just trying to help. My voice cracked. No, they're trying to erase me. And you're holding the pen. He didn't deny it. I watched him walk out of the room. Slow, like he thought I wouldn't follow. But I did. Straight to the fireproof safe. His backup drive wasn't there. I opened the camera feed again. Rewound 48 hours. Paused. He was in my office. Late at night. Flash drive in hand. Logged into my email. My bank. My cloud. I watched myself be robbed by the man who sleeps beside me. This wasn't a family dispute anymore. It was an operation and I was the asset. I didn't confront Nolan. Not yet. I learned a long time ago that truth moves faster when you let people believe they're safe. So I smiled. I nodded. I slept on my side of the bed and listened to his breathing like it was a countdown clock. Morning. Cut. I left early. No note. No questions. Dean Kessler met me in a cafe off Colfax, the kind with cracked leather booths and a bathroom door that never quite closed. He used to build intrusion maps for companies that didn't like being robbed quietly. He still dressed like a man who expected alarms. You don't look shocked, he said after I slid the drive across the table. I already know who did it, I said. I need to know how. He plugged in. Fingers fussed. Eyes dead calm. Your cloud access, he said, wasn't remote at first. It was local. I didn't blink. Same Wi-Fi. Same SSID. 2 months ago. Late night. My jaw tightened. I was in Phoenix. Exactly. He scrolled. Someone used a physical device inside your house to establish persistent access. After that, remote edits were clean. A truth landed with weight. You don't hack a house without a key. Dean leaned back. People say locks keep honest folks honest. What they don't say is locks only matter when trust is gone. Cut. Bank alert. Phone vibrates. Transfer completed. I open the app. The number hit before the balance loaded. $125,000. Zeroed. Not pending. Not flagged. Completed. Destination. Cross Family Trust operating account. I stood up too fast. Chair scraped. Coffee sloshed. Dean followed my gaze. That wasn't a glitch. No, I said. That was execution. Cut. I drove home with my hazards on. Every car felt like it was pacing me. Every red light stretched. My reflection in the rear view looked older. Sharper. Like grief had found a backbone. Nolan's car was in the driveway. Inside, the house smelled wrong. Cleaned. Sanitized. The kind of clean that erases fingerprints. He was in the kitchen. Sleeves rolled, calm as a staged photo. We need to talk, I said. He nodded. Too quickly. I was going to say the same. I set my phone on the counter. Opened the bank app. Turned it toward him. He didn't look at it. I know you think this is helping, I said. I know you think you're fixing something. He swallowed. They said it was temporary. They said, I repeated. Who is they? My mother. Caleb. They said if we stabilize the accounts, the court wouldn't have to get involved. So you signed, I said. Not a question. He finally met my eyes. I didn't know it would empty your account. That sentence, I said softly, is how people confess without asking for forgiveness. He rubbed his face. You were spiraling. They showed me charts. Payment histories. They said I was a problem, I finished. And you believed them. Silence. Thick. The fridge clicked on. You let them into the house, I said. He flinched. I saw the footage, Nolan. His shoulders dropped. A surrender he thought was small enough to survive. I copied files, he said. Just backups. They said it was for legal context. You don't bring gasoline to a fire unless you're okay with watching it burn, I said. Cut. I went upstairs. Straight to the office. Opened the fireproof safe. Empty. The backup drive. Gone. I pulled the camera feed again. Rewound. Slowed. There he was. Midnight. My desk lamp on. Flash drive in hand. Logging into my bank portal. My cloud. My life. Distraction. A noise downstairs. Footsteps. Reveal. I closed the laptop as Nolan appeared in the doorway. Evelyn. Get out, I said. He hesitated. My mother's worried about you. I laughed once. Short. Sharp. Tell her I'm done being worried. He left. Shoes on. Door closed. The house exhaled. Cut. I called Shelley, then an investigator she trusted. Mandatory reports were filed. Identity theft, unauthorized transfers, spousal financial exploitation. Each form felt like a match. You're escalating, Shelley warned. I'm surviving, I said. There's a difference. Another thought surfaced, cold and clear. People who take your money expect you to beg. People who take your access expect you to freeze. I don't freeze. I check the locks, change the codes, reset the router, new SSID, new keys, new lines. Outside, a car idled too long, then pulled away. I stood at the window and watched my reflection split across the glass. The old me and the one who'd learned the cost of open doors. Someone once told me that bridges don't burn all at once. They smolder until the crossing collapses. What they didn't say is this. Sometimes you light the match on purpose. They crossed my door. Now I'm burning theirs. The call was sharp, short, intentional. Evelyn, this is Attorney Viola Trent. I've reviewed your situation. Viola's voice was a blade concealed in silk. I heard it and felt every word on my skin. Go ahead, I said. We're going offensive, she said. No hesitation. No pity. Defense is a cage. I learned that early. I walked into the law office later that day. White walls. Low hums. A security buzz at the door. The scent of strong coffee. Cameras tracked me like eyes you know are watching. Viola sat straight. Neat pile of documents in front of her. No fluff. Dependency profiles, she said without preamble. Charts. Lines. Patterns we hadn't expected my family to weaponize. They're not going to stop there, she continued. Her words cut cool. They were already on offense. I watched her eyes. They didn't flinch. Not once. She placed a thick folder between us. Cross-family trust. The header was official. The operating account you saw? Misuse. $240K in undocumented transfers, flagged in third-party reports. We can subpoena records. I leaned in. Go on, I said. She didn't blink. Residency discrepancies, employment misclassifications, unexplained asset shifts. If we introduce this in court, we dismantle their credibility entirely. I swallowed. Truth tastes like static. You think they'll fold? I asked. Not fold, she corrected. Explode. I was black coffee and tension when I walked out. The world outside felt too bright. The sun too loud. My phone buzzed. A text. From an unknown number. Stop before it gets worse. No name. No signature. Just fear in pixels. I didn't reply. That night, I flipped open the manila envelope from earlier. The codicil. It was in my late father-in-law's handwriting. Clear. Simple. If evidence of financial mismanagement ever arose, Evelyn Cross, not any other trustee, was the legal steward empowered by the estate. Legal leverage. In my hands. A weapon disguised as paper. People chase loyalty like innocence. But every legal battle is about leverage. And I had it now. Next morning, I wrote the cease and desist. Sent it to Caleb Rourke. PDF attached. I hit send and watched the progress bar like it was a detonator. Seconds felt like heartbeats. Minutes like avalanches. 2 rings later, my phone vibrated again. Stop this now. Maribel. A second message. You don't know what you're doing. I deleted both. Clarity kicks harder than fear. I had one card left. Old evidence buried in the scattered receipts of my life. I dug through my backup folders, untouched since the break-in. Found the emails. Chains of threads misfiled and buried. One stood out. From Nolan. Subject. Forward. Updated cross-family trust docs. But the metadata was odd. Server mismatch. Times that didn't line up. I printed the email trail. 3 pages. At the bottom, a line I hadn't expected. Confirm before forwarding to Caleb. Don't want confusion with other parties. Forwarded. By Nolan. Behind his back, tied into the narrative they sold me. I folded the printout carefully and drove to Viola's office. She read it. Paused. Internal conflict, she said. 2 words. But they cut. They can't deny this if we present it right. It shows collusion. Intent. She activated subpoenas. Public record requests. Immediate audits. The tension built like static before a storm. I left the building into mid-afternoon sun. The world moved around me like a blurred set piece. Traffic buzzed. A siren called off in the distance. I checked my phone. New email. Verified account. From the county court clerk. Cross Family Trust. Audit approved. Documents required within 72 hours. My pulse picked up. We were no longer hidden moves in the dark. We were now in the open. The next buzz came faster. Another unknown number. A picture. Not labeled. No caption. 4 figures. At a private ballroom. Maribel. Miles. Caleb. And Nolan. Hands raised in a toast. Smiling. Close. Too comfortable. Enemy territory. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then hit forward. To Viola. Her reply was instant. We exposed this. Cut scene. Heartbeat. Static in the air. Next move. Public exposure. Not a whisper in the shadows, but a spotlight on every lie. Next, confrontation. Unfiltered. Unavoidable. Unstoppable. The ballroom smelled like citrus cleaner and old money. Crystal lights. Linen-draped tables. A private event, invitation only. I arrived early, black coat, nothing that drew the eye. Viola slipped in behind me. Phone already recording, posture calm as a surgeon's. Across the room, Maribel held court. The smile, the posture, the certainty that comes from believing the room belongs to you. Caleb Rourke hovered near the bar, scanning faces. Nolan stood a step behind his mother. Hands folded, jaw tight. He looked smaller here, less certain, like someone who finally realized the walls were closing. Cut. The music dipped. Viola nodded to me. I walked. Every step felt measured. Not brave. Decided. There's a difference. Courage is loud. Decisions are quiet. Evelyn, Maribel said, the smirk already loading. This is neither the time nor the place. It's exactly the place, I said. You prefer witnesses. She laughed softly. You're confused. No, I said. I was confused. Then I read the books. Caleb moved in. This event is private. If you're here to harass. I'm here to deliver, Viola said, placing a folder on the nearest table. Subpoena acknowledgements, audit notices, a temporary restraining order. A ripple moved through the room. Maribel's smile twitched. I slid a single page across the linen. The codicil, handwritten, notarized, clean. If mismanagement is established, I said, stewardship transfers. Immediately. Caleb reached for it. Viola stopped him with 2 fingers. Don't, she said. It's already filed. Cut. Phones buzzed. Quietly. Then louder. People checking screens. Whispers starting to climb the walls. A man in a dark suit approached. County badge. Come. Maribel Cross? Her eyes narrowed. This is harassment. We'll keep it brief, he said. You're served. Financial records, foundation accounts, and personal devices. Effective now. Nolan stepped forward. This is a misunderstanding. The officer looked at him. Sir, please step back. Nolan froze. I watched his face. The moment the story he told himself broke. There's a saying about lies. They don't collapse from pressure. They collapse from exposure. Cut. Another officer. Another badge. Caleb stiffened. Mr. Rourke, the officer said, we need you to come with us. Caleb's mouth opened. Closed. He glanced at Maribel. She didn't look back. The smirk finally cracked. You think this makes you whole? She hissed, low enough for only me. You think money is the point. No, I said. Control was the point. And you lost it. She straightened. Family doesn't do this. I held her gaze. Family doesn't erase names. Cut. The officers moved. The room shifted. A photographer raised a camera. Viola blocked the lens with her palm. Not yet, she said. I stepped back. Let the scene breathe. Let consequences arrive on their own feet. Nolan found me near the exit. His eyes were wet. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Meaning doesn't undo outcomes, I said. It just explains them. He reached out. Stopped. What happens now? Now, I said, we tell the truth. And then we stop talking. Outside, the night air hit clean and cold. Sirens rose in the distance, not urgent, just present. The city doing what cities do when accountability finally shows up. Cut. Days later, the paperwork stacked neatly on my kitchen table. Asset freezes, restitution schedules, a letter from the court confirming interim stewardship, another from the bank confirming reversals where possible. Not everything came back. Enough did. I changed the locks again, not because I had to, because rituals matter. They mark the line between before and after. I sat by the window and watched the street. A neighbor walked a dog. Someone laughed down the block. Ordinary life resumed like it always does, indifferent to the storms it survives. There's a thought I keep returning to, one I learned the hard way. When people tell you love is sacrifice, ask who's holding the knife. Another, boundaries don't break families, they reveal them. And this one, quiet, stubborn, freedom doesn't arrive with applause. It arrives when you stop asking permission. Nolan moved out. Papers followed. Silence finally did its work. I opened a drawer and took out the old itinerary, the one with my name highlighted. I folded it once, then again. Then I placed it in the trash. The past doesn't need souvenirs. I poured a glass of water, stood in my own kitchen, breathing easy for the first time in weeks. No filters, no photographs, no ghosts signing my name. Somewhere, Maribel was learning what it costs to underestimate someone you thought you owned. And me? I learned that belonging isn't a seat at someone else's table. It's knowing when to stand up and leave with your name intact.